People don't understand it.
I know, I get my husband with me. And
Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Can we all stand, please, for the pledge?
I thought you were going to wait for...
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to have a moment of silence. Thank you to our first responders, to our police, to everyone. And also, please keep in your hearts the young man that was killed here in town, the highway worker. Keep him and his family in your prayers. Okay. We're going to introduce our members today, and we're going to tell you a little bit about those that are not here.
I don't think it's on.
Tommy, is this thing on?
Yes, there's green lights on.
Okay.
That he didn't put.
No.
So we put a couple of typos. No big deal. There's nothing major.
Oh, now it is.
Now it's on?
Yes.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
it's on.
Magic switch.
Okay.
Put in some more short. Put them in, I guess.
Francis McVetti,
Just,
Darrell Lindholm,
and then nobody has to. 'Cause
Serafina Mastro.
Deborah Marks.
Okay, and then we have with us today Joe Falcone, who is our liaison to the Rec Commission, Diana Quast, our town clerk, who you all know, and myself, Rosemary Panio. I want to talk a little bit about Jenny Menton. Everybody's been calling me to ask me about her. She's doing much better. She's home. She had some surgery. She broke her hip. Blah, blah, blah. It's a long story. And yesterday when I talked to her, she sounded cantankerous again, so I guess she's doing better. But she wanted to come. I said, no. I said, stay home. I need for you to get better. I need for you to do what you have to do, and, there'll be other meetings. So Maria Pham is not here because Anthony is not well. He's up in the Purdy's, and he's had a very rough month, so she feels that she could not leave him, which, of course, is understandable. Am I leaving somebody out, Darrell?
No.
No. Okay. Am I leaving somebody out? I don't know who. Anyway, we have a tight schedule, so we want to get to it. I'm going to ask our former supervisor, Aaron Bach, if he would be so kind. He has an announcement he needs to make. And I asked him to come and make it. What is that noise? Yes, Aaron, yes. Aaron is also a member of the planning board.
Yes, thank you,
Right.
Rosemary. I'm happy to be here today. I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to extend an invitation to all of our seniors, both here on the committee and at home, to join us on Sunday, October 9th, at 11 a.m. through 5 p.m. for our annual fall festival. A couple of changes this year. Again, it is October 9th, the day before Columbus Day. We are not holding it in the center of town this year, but rather at the Jefferson Valley Mall. So I wanted to let everyone know of that change. We have many vendors, we have a lot of attractions, and particularly for you, we have a senior luncheon that we brought back. It's going to be at the food court in the mall, I believe at 11:30 to 1:30, so there'll be a time, and it's not going to be a sit-down. Because of COVID, we will have box lunches which people can take, and they can eat on their own or they can bring them home. But I would like to invite everyone, all of our senior community, not only to come to the festival, but to come to the luncheon as well, which we're sponsoring. That is sponsored by actually the New York Presbyterian Hospital in Peekskill. So and the vendors, the food court vendors, are supplying the food. So that's this Sunday.
Wonderful.
I will. There's information that's always getting up on our website, and if I get a flyer to you, Rosemary,
Yes.
I will
Thank you.
certainly get that when it's prepared.
Thank
but I
you.
hope to see you all there, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you
to
for
talk.
coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If This is another example of all the great things that New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital does for us. So as seniors, when you do have them, Aaron, you can give me some. Perhaps we could put some in Town Hall here, maybe some at Jefferson Village, so that we can get them dispersed by people. And I'm glad that a free lunch is always good. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for coming.
And the box lunch is very similar to what you have today, because
Right.
they supply the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's wonderful. Good.
Yes, very.
Okay, our first guest today is a physical therapist. Tamara, is that? Where is she? Tama. Tama. I'm close. Goodstein. Okay, she's a physical therapist, and she's out of Hudson Valley Hospital Center as well. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about balance, which I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I've noticed that, I used to be a ski jumper. I'm lucky if I get down the stairs now. So I thought this would be a useful thing. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And we look forward to what you have to say.
All right. And if everybody wants to get one of these little packets, if you don't have one. So, as Rosemary said, my name's Tama Goodstein. I'm a physical therapist at New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley. I work in the outpatient physical therapy department. And the reason I'm giving this presentation is I want to talk about strengthening for people of all ages and fall prevention tips, which are in the packet. Some sample exercises. We'll see what I have time for. And just go over a couple of resources that we have at New York Presbyterian for people. So a few facts. Weakness is directly related to function. So weakness affects your walking speed, sit to stand, transferability, balance, and everyday activities like dressing, bathing, shopping, household chores, cooking, and maybe pickleball. Everybody knows that now. So the average community dwelling senior needs to walk 1,000 feet per errand, carry packages averaging 6.7 pounds, negotiate curbs, direction changes while walking, and local to Yorktown, negotiate Trader Joe's and Uncle Giuseppe's, which can be busy. So getting stronger and working on balance is not about just doing a triathlon or beating your grandkids at a race. It's about everyday quality of life and safety, and you need to move. So how do you get there? Well, the first thing, and most importantly, is no falls. There are some fall prevention tips, as I said, in the packet. A couple of things it talks about is just shoe wear, making sure your shoes fit properly with non-skid soles, wearing maybe grip socks so you don't slip. Throw rugs are dangerous, so you have to watch rugs and carpets. Good lighting, grab bars, tub seats, night lights, handheld showers, all those little things that can help if you find that you are not so balanced. And actually there are three things that are really involved in your balance. You have three systems. The first is the visual system, your eyes. The second is your vestibular system, your inner ear, which helps you right yourself. And the third system is your somatosensory, the feedback you get in your feet that tells your body where you are and how to right yourself.
Wow.
So as you age, everybody, those systems can be diminished. And if you add in any diseases or visual problems or neuropathies, obviously you get more difficulty with balance. So the thing to do, really, well, there's a lot of things that come into play in terms of trying to keep your balance. You need to have strength. You need to work on balance. Flexibility is also important, and endurance. So all those things are important to work on. And in terms of strengthening, if you see my picture on the front, anybody can do weight training. This might be a bit much, because the thing is that if you are going to weight train, you want to do it safely. Generally, 8 to 12 repetitions, 1 to 3 sets of the exercise with 1 to 2 minutes of rest, 3 to 4 times a week as a general guideline. But of course, having guidance would be a good idea. And a couple of basic exercises that you can do, which are in the packet, using your own body weight, are a sit to stand without your hands in a chair that doesn't slide or tip. Sometimes we'll put a chair against the wall so it's safe. So let's see, I think that's the first one, the sit to stand. And, for people who can't do it without their hands, you use your hands and maybe sit without your hands. But it's a good training exercise that you don't need any equipment. The other one is wall push-ups, just pushing against the wall. That's also in your packet, so you can see that. And there's some balance testing that we actually do. One of them is single leg standing, which is a simple balance test, and we actually time people to see if they're at fall risk. And the other thing in your packet is a chart that tells you what the norms are for single limb stance test. And you can see on this packet, there's the eyes open for the males and the eyes open for the females, and then there's eyes closed. So remember I was talking about the vision. If you close your eyes, that's going to diminish your balance because you're taking one of those systems away. So these are just norms. So that's one of the things in the packet as well. The other thing you can see is a 30-second chair stand test. And what that is we time people how many times can they sit to stand in 30 seconds. And there's this chart which tells you if you're in the category you should be. Some people can't stand without using your hands. So again, that's another thing that you need to train for. Not that you would get up from a chair not using your hands, but as an exercise, it's a good idea. So there are a lot of exercises that can make you stronger and improve your endurance, your flexibility. And actually, there's also some copies in the New York Times. I think it was a couple weeks ago. There was a balance article, and they talk about Tai Chi, which I don't know if you've taken Tai Chi, but that can also be helpful with balance. So if you want, I made some copies of
good,
this.
good.
Yeah.
You have copies there?
I have.
Good.
Well, I have some in the back. I don't know if there's quite enough, but we can always make more. That's easy to do.
We can also get a copy and email it to you, Rosemary.
Okay.
You can share it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, like I said, one of the important things is strengthening. So there's a lot of ways to do strengthening. You don't have to use, the dumbbell or the barbell like the lady on the packet. But one of the things I brought, we use resistance bands, which you probably have seen them. They make latex, mostly, if you're allergic to latex. They make non-latex type. So that's another way. Instead of just using your body weight, that's one way to use something to give you resistance, to make you stronger. And different colors show the different resistances. And actually, even if you don't have any of this, I've done home care many years, and I've used soup cans. One lady, I even used a couple cans of tuna. Mm-hmm. So anything you have which has weight can help you with strengthening. So the 30-second chair stand test, again, I said it's how many times can you stand in 30 seconds, and you can look at what the norms are. The single limb stance test is how many seconds can you stand with your hands on your hips, standing on one leg, balancing on one leg. So this one can be difficult for people if they don't have the balance. So what I do with a lot of people I work with is I'll have them stand and either hold the counter and tap the counter because, of course, like I said, safety first. The number one thing is you don't want falls. So you have to do these all safely. The other thing I put in your packet is just a little blurb about another test, which is the 5 times sit to stand test. And if it takes you more than 15 seconds to go from sitting to standing, again, this is without your hands, then that shows an increased risk for falls. So that's usually you sit down, you stand up, and on the 5th time as you're standing, that's when you count. That's when you stop the clock. So that's what we use in our practice to try and assess people if they're a balance risk. So let me just tell you a few things about we have at New York Presbyterian. Obviously, physical therapy, which can help building strength, endurance, flexibility, balance. If you have an injury or unstable walking or moving, we work a lot with that. We also have specialists in vestibular therapy and lymphedema therapy and pelvic floor therapy, and you need a prescription from a doctor. We have occupational therapy, which specializes in hand, wrist, upper extremity, arm injuries, and most of them are certified hand specialists, which is great. You also need a prescription. And then we have cardiac pulmonary rehab, which is prescribed by the physician usually after a heart attack or heart failure or breathing issues. And it's usually 2 or 3 times a week for an hour, and they monitor your vital signs. so you can feel comfortable exercising. So it's a safe environment. So, all right, I didn't go too long, did I?
No, you have very
So
valuable information.
So there, if you want, I can demonstrate some of these things if you want on the packet, or I can take questions. I don't know how much time I have. How much time am I allowed?
We'll have some time for questions.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Carol?
Town Parks and Rec have fall prevention. It's a wonderful course given by Mrs. Cohen.
Okay.
If anybody here wants to do
Oh.
that.
I'll repeat it.
Twice, I don't have my schedule with me, but I think.
Here he is. We have, right.
Oh, great.
Looking in the book.
It's Thursdays from 2:30 to 3:30, and Fridays from 1 to 2 p.m.
And are there flyers in the back? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
It's a balanced class kind of
Yes.
thing? Great.
And
Excellent.
Maureen is also offering Stay Strong and Fit at the YCC. That's Tuesdays from 1 to 2.
Oh,
Wonderful.
that's great.
In that class, and many of these things that you said, they do that.
Perfect. I know. And even if you look at the New York Times, they talk about some of the same tests. But you have to move and
You have
move
to do 'em.
safely, right? You got to move and move safely so we can all be looking like this.
Wonderful.
Right?
Any more questions?
No?
Questions, comments? No?
No questions? Nothing?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Do you want to give some examples? Because there's a lot more seniors that see this on TV that will not be able to see this packet.
Right.
absolutely.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's share. Let's see. Let me go, and I'll also use the band. Well, I'll just do it in front so people.
Stay up there so you're still on camera.
Oh, oops.
And don't fall.
That's true. I was looking at those stairs. There's
I
nobody
know.
else.
I know.
Can I ask Mr. Supervisor, are you in a hurry? Okay.
Okay, so let's go in order. The sit to stand without arm support. Again, safety first. So what we usually do is, and I do this as an exercise, it's a test, is what you're going to do is you're going to sit and you want the chair to tip. You're going to put your feet under you, both feet even, shoulder width apart. And sometimes if people have a hard time, I'll use the cue of nose over your toes to help you get up because that helps gravity pull you up. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand up, sit down. This picture does show you with the arms forward because what that does is if you reach forward, what's that doing? That's actually bringing your nose over your toes, getting you forward. And sometimes that makes it easier to stand. And I use it as an exercise. People can do 3 and they get tired because it makes your legs tired and also makes you breathless sometimes. So whatever people can do comfortably. So that's the first one. Let's go in order here. Get the next page.
On the wall.
Wall push-ups. Okay, so let's. So where can I be on camera?
You're perfect right there.
Oh, I need a wall.
Right back there.
Spread apart. So with this one, again, you want to be safe. You're going to go to a wall. Your feet will be about shoulder width apart, and your arms will be about shoulder height. And what you're going to do, the further you move your feet from the wall, the harder it's going to be. So for people who are weak and can't do much, I have them go closer. You don't want to be poking your head forward when you go to the wall. You want to keep in nice alignment, of course. And you just go to the wall, and you just push and come back up. Again, if it's too easy, you can move further back. And for some people, when it gets really too easy, I have them do it on a counter because the lower you go, the harder it is. So if you do it at your kitchen sink, that can give you a little bit of resistance. I see that the wires are taped. That's very good. Don't trip over any wires.
We don't want to fall.
Nope, no falls. That's the one thing. Okay, so this one is with the band. So let's see. Oh, this might work. Am I still on camera?
Yes.
So you can use a kitchen table. You could put a band on a doorknob, and there are so many exercises you can do with a resistance band. And like I said, they come in different colors. The yellow's the easiest, and then it goes up from there. And you can actually get these anywhere. But be careful because they can break sometimes, so don't be leaning back with them because they can break. So this I would actually have a little higher. You could put it on a doorknob and close the door and put a chair there and do it that way. But again, you want to sit up, no slouching, good body position, and you want to pull the band just back to your body. I have people do this standing as well, but if your balance is not good, then it's better to do it sitting so it's safe. And how many do you do? Well, this one's not a hard exercise, so usually between 10 and 20 I have people do because it's not the most difficult.
Where do you purchase them?
You can get these on, I don't know, does anybody
Below
use
zero
Amazon?
in the Gordon Townsend. Below zero.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They sell a lot of things now. They sell
Like
weights.
sporting goods in the mall as well.
Yeah.
Walmart
And I
usually
know
has them
online
too.
they also
Yes.
sell 'em.
Amazon.
And what is it
First we
called?
have
A resistance
They're
band?
called Resistance Band. These are TheraBand. This is TheraBand is the brand. They also make tubing, which is similar. And I know online they have them, and they come in different colors. Usually, if you buy them with the packet, I don't know if that's true, but they have, a few different ones
Okay.
of different resistances. So you can feel if anybody wants to see them. The yellow's pretty light. These are made of latex, so if you have a latex injury, you need to make sure you get a latex-free
Okay.
one. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that exercise on the door jam, just for safety reasons, if you take the center of it, tie a knot, put it behind the door, then close the door.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that knot there, it can slip out.
Yeah, okay, so that's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah, he said tie a knot in the band so it doesn't
Yes,
slip.
at the end of the
Yeah,
band,
if your
put
door
it
has a
behind
little,
the door,
yeah, that's a good
behind the door
idea.
jam, and it won't slip out.
Okay,
But it can slip out on some doors,
yeah, if they're not closing all the way. Yeah, good idea.
For safety reasons.
Or a kitchen table sometimes if it doesn't slide, or a rail.
Well, you don't need it on a kitchen table, but it's wrapped around the leg. But
Yeah.
on a door jam,
Right.
you don't need it because if you got a space between the door
Right, true,
and
good
the
point.
frame, it can slip out.
Well, that's what I say, if you're gonna do it standing, what I tell people is don't do it like you're water skiing, because if you lean back and it breaks, you'll end up on the floor. You wanna, when you do an exercise, have a good steady stance, and so if it did break, you'd be steady on your feet. And that's what doing anything. So the last thing in the packet is the single leg stance. So that is where, again, you can go close to a counter. If you're balanced enough, you can just stand and let go. But if not, I have people tap like that. And this way you can, sort of challenge yourself. But if you can't even stand up at all on one leg, then you need some support. And it's still good, even if you have support, because you're still getting the weight through. You're still challenging yourself somewhat, which is good.
That's good.
And then I don't know if you see the fall prevention safety checklist is in the packet. And like I said, the norms for all the tests. All right. Any other
Wonderful.
questions?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very,
Thank you.
very helpful. Thank you. Tell Ellen we're sorry. We hope she feels better. Ellen is practically a member of the Senior Advisory Committee. She does so much for us, so please tell her that we're thinking of her. Thank you very much. Okay, well, we're going to have the supervisor now. I know he's got a lot on his agenda, so we want to get him up here for a moment.
I don't think he wants to read my balance
Your notes.
presentation. So we can.
Yeah, fold it around.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It's good to see all of you. It's good to be here at the Senior Advisory Committee. I hope everyone had a good summer. We had a great one here for the town. A lot of accomplishments that we were able to achieve. But today is not a day in my mind that I can really mentally or emotionally go through them. As many of you know, or may not know, we had a tragedy here in town earlier this week. We lost one of our highway employees, Jake Akara, in a car accident. Jake was working at a site off of London Road where they were doing some drainage work, and another member of our community, unfortunately, for whatever reason, which we're still investigating, thanks to the Yorktown Police Department in Westchester County, but needless to say, went through the work site and ultimately struck Jake and killed him. And so today I just really want to focus on our employees. That's where our focus has been since Wednesday. We've had grief counselors come in. We've been banding together, coming together as a family here in Town Hall and over at the Highway Department. And it's been a really tough week. Jake, for those who may or may not have known him, was a great guy. Loved his job, loved working for the town. graduated from Lakeland High School, was one of us. And so, again, just a really difficult week for us all here working for the town. And if we could, I would really appreciate just if we can just bow our heads in a moment of silence so that we can remember Jake, remember his mom, Kelly, his dad, Jack, his fiancée, he was engaged, his fiancée, Katie, who is the assistant engineer over in the town of Cortland. And so if we can just bow our heads in a moment of silence to remember Jake, ask that God just watches over his family, helps them during this horrific time, and of course holds Jake close, welcomes him to heaven, and continues to protect all of our workers. We can just bow our heads, please. Thank you. You know, when you see our workers, and I know we're all conscientious about it, but when you see our workers out in the community, we said this before, Chief Noble said it before, Highway Superintendent Paganelli said it before. I mean, everyone has tried to explain this. They're there to do a job. They're there to provide an essential service to our community. And it's important that they're safe.
Absolutely.
You know, this morning I was driving into work and Refuse and Recycling was out on Granite Springs Road, and they were picking up their doing their tasks on the side. And cars are just buzzing by them. Earlier today, we had our water department at the very site where Jake's accident was, and a landscaping company, just too impatient, went right through it and clipped one of our water department trucks.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You know, it's just, please, keep our workers safe. You know, Jake woke up and never came home.
How old was Jake? Mr.
28.
Cooper? 28.
Jake was 28. And so when you see our workers, patience. You know, their life, just a little patience could save it. So when you see them on the side of the road, please use caution. Please obviously obey all the directions that are given by our workers. They are trained in flagging. They're trained in creating safe work environments for themselves. We're going to be reviewing all of our policies and procedures with our highway superintendent, our water superintendent as well, because you know we know that our water department employees are out on the streets all the time fixing water mains, and our chief of police. And you know everything's on the table right now, everything. If that means we have to close roads while our guys are working, we're going to go close roads while our guys are working. Losing an employee is just
terrible.
Terrible. You're right. And I never want to have to experience this again. I don't ever want another supervisor to have to experience it again because it's heart-wrenching. But it really is critical and crucial that our residents recognize our employees as well and recognize the service that they're providing and recognize the dangerous jobs that they're doing. So when you're going through, if you are ever going to be passing any of our employees, please do so with extreme caution, understanding, patience. No one should be getting hurt at any of our work sites for whatever reason. Negligence of a driver or impatience of a driver, whatever the cause may have been. And so, you know, just really important that I would just really want to emphasize that today. Okay? We're working on a lot of things in town. I'm just going to transition for a second. One of the things that we're going to be working on, I'm going to invite our finance department up to talk about a grant that we've been working towards. Many know that we've done a lot of work during my tenure on downtown revitalizations, specifically here for the Heights Hamlet and for the Osceola area of Jefferson Valley off of 6N. There is a state grant program that we're trying to apply for to ascertain additional funding to help with complete streets, to help to continue to help with really revitalizing our downtowns, making them safe, but also making them as aesthetically pleasing and welcoming as we can. And so thanks to our finance department, our comptroller, Pat Caparel, our deputy comptroller, Janelle McNeil. I just wanted you guys to come up and present to the Senior Advisory Committee and their members and to the public at large because of the It is being taped and playing on government access, but this new initiative that we're working on. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
I don't have anything prepared. Hi, I'm Janelle. So we're working on applying for a grant from New York Forward. It's to revitalize downtown areas. The possibility of the grant amount could be anywhere from $2.25 million to $4.5 million. We have a map here where we have located where the project would entail. It's basically in the Heights area here over in the downtown. And what the state is looking for is for communities that have vacant properties, that they're looking to revitalize and encourage housing, jobs, a mixed use of effective public spaces, preservation of historic structures, that we respect our community heritage, anything with arts, culture, creativity, recreation, and green space. So we have had other surveys in the community that we already have an idea of some projects that we know that the community is already interested in, but we're also interested in reaching out to the community now that this is a little bit different of a focus because it's such a specific area in the specific downtown that we're looking for community input of what you would like to see.
Okay.
So actually we could, the list of the potential uses that we've known because we have done some other surveys within the communities is the Kmart property we already have some ideas there for mixed use development with retail stores on the bottom and housing on top with public spaces that the community could walk to. Oh, and a big focus too is walkability, that they want people to be able to live, work, and play and stay within their community. So the mixed-use property at the Kmart, over at the Roma building, I know there was talks about redeveloping there. There's also talk about the railway from the Empire Trail, and then we have the Mohansic Trail, which connects to FDR, but to connect the two so that way it's safe and people can use those trailways. What else do we have? Oh, I gotta remember. There was talk of the Boutique Hotel on the corner over by the Veterans Road, by the community center, which would bring people in for weekends to come to the farms and to come to the trailways and come to the restaurants and shops and walk around and bring economic business to the area. And then we also have some improvements that we want to do over at the YCC. The Albert, the Cappellini Center School, whatever you want to call it, over there.
Sixth grade school.
So we have a lot of ideas, but then we're also looking for anything that you think that would be helpful and that you want to see in your community, since this is your community.
Well,
How do we give our input?
So what we have was we're going to set up the board in the back, and we have little post-it notes, and pens. So just write down your idea, whatever it is that you have, right on there, and just stick it right on the board, and we will continue adding to the list of what the community wants to see.
But be bold and say, suggest an information center in your town.
Oh, that's great.
The public
Okay.
who come to visit us can get information on what we have.
Put it on the post-it.
Yeah, put it on the post-it. Yeah.
We've got all this information,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not an information center.
Right, maybe at Railroad Park. They just did that. It's beautiful over there. That would be a great spot, a center right there in town. So, yeah, definitely write it on the Post-it, stick it on the board, and like I said, and we're going to add it to the list. And then if we do end up getting the grant, it's not, we will propose all these ideas to them, but nothing is set in stone. So if you do get the grant, then it comes back, and then they provide, the state and us will work together to go through all the ideas, and at that point, more community input will happen. And if you want to change, if we want to change something or bring something new in that's not even originally on the list, we can still do that. So there's a lot of flexibility, and our first thing is, fingers crossed that we would, get the grant. There's only limited. There's there's different regions in New York, and then within our region, the Mid-Hudson region, there would be either two $4.5 million grants or one 4.5 and then two 2.25s. So, you know, we have a possibility, and like I said, fingers crossed, maybe we would get it and then be able to.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
We've been talking for quite a while. I know that Supervisor Matt is going to know what I'm talking about, and that is senior housing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We have many seniors in the town that would like to downsize
Right.
and don't want to leave Yorktown, but unfortunately don't have any place to go.
Right.
They don't want to leave their church. They don't want to leave their neighbors. They want to stay here. But unfortunately, there is a very small market for that, and that's something that I would really dwell upon.
Yeah. And I think part of, yeah, yep, because, okay, you want to take over?
All I was going to say. Oh, all right. All I was going to say is, well, let me start with the fact that this is a great addition to the work that we've started for the last 2.5, 3 years now. The overlay district was the first start. First time we've updated our zoning since the 1970s in a really comprehensive and forward-thinking way. Listen, you've already seen the results. You've seen, you know, Uncle Giuseppe's. You've seen, you know, the filling up. Here you go, Janelle. There you go. You've seen
Thank
the
you.
filling of a number of vacant stores. You know, you've seen the Cataldo building just got purchased, and they're proposing big things for that. The Triangle Center is looking at a full renovation for the first time since the early 90s.
Good.
It really just takes one domino to fall, and then you see some great ideas and great focus back on our community. And so, you know, the board, the town board, this town board and the previous town board that I was honored to serve with, you know, we hear from the community about tackling chronic blight, chronic eyesores, chronic vacancies, and, you know, we are focused on doing that. One of the ways that we can is by updating our zoning, which we did. This is a continuation of that. This initiative helps us think through all the different aspects of a downtown revitalization, all the different aspects of improving the Heights hamlet and continuing to make it a thriving hamlet, thriving business community that we all are striving to achieve. You know, just to tick off a couple of things that we accomplished already this summer. You know, we become the grocery store capital of the world with Trader Joe's opening, with Uncle Giuseppe's opening. If you go on Sundays to Uncle Giuseppe's, there's still a guy who likes to walk around with a microphone and singing. It actually helps you spend a couple $100 very painlessly. You feel good about it. But, you know, those are really important, you know, components of our community. You know, we're hearing really positive feedback about the old Uncle Giuseppe's space, you know, with potential tenants that are coming in. And, you know, I think that, like I said, it takes just one domino to fall. And to have the Triangle Center, you know, start knocking on our door saying that they want to look at revitalization and renovation and rejuvenation of their property, you know, that would be tremendous for our town.
Absolutely.
You know, but Rosemary mentioned senior housing. I just want to make sure everyone also knows that, you know, that has been a focus, remains a focus, and we're seeing products come through now being proposed. For example, you know, we do have the Toll Brothers project off of Catherine Street moving ahead. That is a senior living complex, 150 units, that the planning board just got their environmental consultant on board with to review their application. So that's moving forward. And if the other one that's, you know, that's new that you may not have heard because it was the summer months, but the old Contractors Register building up in Jefferson Valley off of East Main Street, that's been vacant. That's about 38 acres, I believe. And we had a wonderful presentation of 250 senior units for the full redevelopment of that property. And it's not the entire property. They're only using a small footprint, but it was incredibly impressive, and I think it received a very warm welcome from the town board, and I think that's something that the seniors and the community would really benefit from. But so, you know, there are senior housing options that are coming, but there are also, you know, other non-senior housing, and we have to balance that, right? So you look over at Gomer Street, there's a proposal for the old egg farm that's there. You know, that's something that's been brought forward that's going to welcome new families, both for single-family houses and potentially multi-family units. But so it's all about a balance. It's all about making sure that our community continues to grow and thrive and is prepared for the next generation of people who want to call Yorktown home, and that's what we're trying to work towards. And so, I just wanted to address that one point about the senior living opportunities because they're coming, and I know it's something that you and I have talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Something this board's advocated for a lot, and rest assured, they're on the horizon.
Good.
And I think people should be excited about it. I think it's going to be a great asset to our community. And again, it also not only helps our seniors, but it helps young families because
Yes.
now you have young families, filling taking your single-family homes
the
and
school
getting to
district
raise their
and
own
yeah,
kids in
sure.
them like you did. So, it's been a very productive summer. It's great to see you all back here. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them the best that I can. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my concern with the Underhill Farm situation,
Mhm.
which I know is in court now, and also the Kmart property. Between those two sites where they want to build a developer, they're putting up like, if I add up correctly, it's close to 300 or maybe a little bit over 300
Mhm.
residents.
Correct.
Some of those apartments are going to be rentals for 3 and 4 bedrooms, I understand?
No.
Or
No, they're only 1 and 2 bedrooms.
only all of them?
Mhm.
But in the newspaper, they mentioned something about.
I don't recall any 3 or 4 bedrooms being proposed.
But I'm just telling you what I read.
Fake news.
If that's
Yeah, no, it's not 3 or 4 bedrooms. They're all one to two
Fake
family
news.
units, and we've done a full study on the impact that both would have on our school district and.
I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I'm not against it.
Yep.
But I think that that's too many residents for that area. I think they should bring it down.
Well, there's a process that allows that to happen.
The Underhill Farm is an historic, thing that should be maintained.
But thankfully the.
There a McDonald's in there.
There's no going to
Well,
be any
I'm
McDonald's.
going to just tackle that head on and just tell you that any proposal for a McDonald's there is a fat lie.
Yes.
It was a paid ad by a special interest group who are opposing any proposal up there at this point in time. That is factually inaccurate. It is a straight lie. There is no McDonald's going
Anywhere.
over to that building. Well, no, you're seeing a paid ad by special interest trying to mislead, unfortunately, residents, and obviously it's working. What the fact is, the developer has proposed investing over $1 million to renovate and reopen that building for public use. That is vastly different than proposing McDonald's. And it also maintains and protects the historical integrity of the Underhill House, which the town board, the planning board have all identified as a critical component to our history, a critical component to the future of Yorktown, and we've insisted that any type of proposal that comes through protects and enhances that building. So $1 million investment coming in to renovate it, to reopen it, and to reuse it, not as a McDonald's, because that's just frankly foolish for anything to be proposed like that, is what is on the table. There's a full process in place for the planning board to examine every aspect of that. There's a whole site plan approval process that is underway, has not been completed, has not been approved. But nowhere on that site plan is there a McDonald's or any type of fast food restaurant.
At the time when that story was circulating, I called the newspaper, and I knew that I had heard from you that was not the case. But what I said to the newspaper was, then you should have put in a disclaimer.
Oh, I consider it false advertising.
False advertising. The newspaper, I don't remember which one it was in.
It was in the Yorktown News. Yeah, it's false advertising and frankly fear-mongering.
Yeah, should have put in a disclaimer and did not. And then after that, you never saw them use that picture again.
No, but it also shows what you can do with money.
Yes, yes.
And if someone can purchase an ad and put a flat-out lie in the papers for people to believe, that's a scary thought. Yes, ma'am.
What I'm concerned about is that, we're all senior citizens here, and, some of us are well off, some of us are not.
Hmm?
And the homes that they're going to be building there, they say it's market values.
Mhm.
Market value is very high for a lot of senior citizens. So a lot of senior citizens in Yorktown are not going to be able to afford to move into those apartments or townhouses or whatever they want to be called, because of the price of what they told
Well, we haven't seen the actual price yet, right? So I think that's something that the board is still, everything's on the table with them. The Toll Brothers piece is still needs to go through a rezone and approval process. But I understand what you're saying. I recognize it.
Price is starting at $600,000.
Well, that's news to me.
And that's what I'm hearing. Now,
You also told us that there was a McDonald's going into the new building.
rebut that then, because that's out there. That these homes
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be honest and say that I'm not here to be. I'm just going to be honest and say that I'm not here to be the customer service representative from any of these developments, right? That's their responsibility to come to the town and come to the residents and explain their project. The fact remains that we recognize that there needs to be a diverse housing portfolio here in the town of Yorktown. We do not preclude affordable housing, which is, I think, what you're getting to, because that's a reduced cost. There's no prohibition in Yorktown on affordable housing. If a developer wanted to come in tomorrow and propose 150 units of affordable housing, they very well could. Nothing's stopping them.
Well, they should come out with a list of approximately what these houses would cost.
And I'm sure that they're going to provide a pricing index. I'm sure they're going to provide a pricing index once they have an actual approval, but nothing has been approved to this point in time.
Okay, I think we need to,
There's one other.
yes, if it's brief.
Toll Brothers has a reputation for selling very expensive, building very expensive.
The who? I'm sorry. I
Toll
can't hear.
Brothers.
Well, that's a discussion for the yes, when the committees are discussing that, the proper committee, that's the discussion to have. We just want to give an overview
Right.
of what we're thinking about in the town to be sure that we are thinking of seniors.
Other questions that might be able to answer? Mr. Frank? I'm sorry. I know you.
This,
I'm glad Mr. Valerano was here. I want to thank him for the thousands of dollars that the Recreation Department pays for buses at different events for seniors.
You do great.
One very important thing that may even go back to the fatal accident, but is driver's education. You check with AARP, check with AAA. There's no driver's education anywhere in this region. The closest one is up at Wappinger Falls at the town hall. So the senior citizens here definitely need that. See, that it's a short one-day
Yep.
session. You get 10% off of your insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
AAA does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's been a few.
One at a time.
Yeah, if I could. There's been a few courses offered. I understand what you're saying, not by the town though. And so what we can do is work with Jim to make sure the town is offering that. And to your point, I think it's an important. It's definitely an important seminar for our seniors to take. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Are they still going to tear down the Kmart building and replace it and then?
You know, I'll be honest. I mean, what happened there, Kmart, as we all know, went out of business nationwide. A company called Transformco is the company that took the lease, and they had 9 years left on the lease. It's my understanding, based on conversations that I've had as recently as 2 weeks ago, that Oster Property has reacquired the lease itself. But they're actually hearing from people who want to bring commercial back to Yorktown. So, you know, we're going to have to wait and see if they're going to go through with their proposal or if they're going to keep it just as a commercial center, which, you know, would be great because you're bringing in more stores and more jobs and more, you know, enhanced commercial tax base. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see what proposal they want to come back with based on the interest that they're getting. The interest that they're getting right now is more on the commercial side than the residential side. So we'll see.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
thank you,
Supervisor.
Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you over there. No problem.
I made a call concerning the tax rebate. We were supposed to get back on our taxes. And when I spoke to, I forgot what politician it was, they said that they kind of backlogged and you should be getting this check by September. I mean, not September.
I got mine.
August. I never got my.
I got mine.
Yeah,
Mine
so
came.
the check that you're referring to is for your STAR rebate. That's the state program. That's not the town program.
Well, can either come from the feds or the state?
Feds or the state, right? Not from the town. So I think what the best thing for you and I to do is take a walk down to the assessor's office. They're the ones who can provide you exactly what you should be getting based on your qualifications and when they expect that to come in. I know that they've started seeing STAR rebate checks come to houses in the last 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm guessing yours is going to be an enhanced STAR rebate, not just the STAR rebate. So, but why don't we take a walk down to the assessor's office and she can provide you that information.
The information I was given that they were behind and that by August, we should be getting, August came and went, and here we are.
Yeah, like I said, if it's federal and state, we're not the ones administering that, so I can't speak for them. But we can get you the answer. Yeah, no, unfortunately, they don't tell the locals what actually goes on. And
Okay, we
we
have to move on. We have a full program. And thank you, Mr. Supervisor. And please give our condolences to the family, and we'll tell them that we are praying for them. Thank you. Okay, we have a very full program, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you. Thank you to Ellen. Thanks.
And Wendy.
Yes. Wendy, no, Ellen is who I wanted to speak about. Okay, we have today, let's move on with our program because we have a pretty full one. Our first guest is Yvonne Check. She's the director of the John C. Hart Library. And anytime you have a question, she is always available and willing to respond. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvonne Check, and I am the library director for the John C. Hart Memorial
Please,
Library.
we have a speaker, please.
And I want to thank the Senior Advisory Committee for inviting us back to speak to you about all the wonderful services and resources that we have at the library. And I also want to let everyone know that I know you have been off during the summer, right?
Yes.
And the summer actually is the busiest time for the library. We had such an extraordinarily busy summer that in the month of August, the John C. Hart Library was the busiest library out of all the 38 libraries in Westchester County.
Whoa.
And we had thank you. We had the highest circulation out of all of the Westchester County libraries. And so we're very proud of that. And I think it's a result of all of the work of our entire staff. And it's also very appropriate that we're here with you today because September is Library Card Sign-Up Month throughout the entire country. So here to talk to you more about this very important resource, your library card, and all of the things that it unlocks for you is our librarian in charge of IT and circulation, Allison Egan, and she's got a full presentation for you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
Welcome, Allison.
Do I have to renew my library card?
Every 3 years.
We can answer that.
Yes.
Okay.
Every 3 years.
Really?
Every 3 years.
3 years? Thank you, Yvonne.
Can people see the TVs?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, my name's Allison. I'm from the library. I wanted to come here today for several reasons. One of them is I wanted to highlight some programs and services that we do at the library all of the time that you all might not be aware of and might want to participate in. I actually see some familiar faces here, which is great, but some of you may not be aware of all that we do. So interesting that you bring up the library card because your library card does expire every 3 years. It only takes like 30 seconds to renew your card. If you haven't used your card in a while or maybe haven't visited us since COVID, you think it might be expired, my colleague and I are here and we can renew your card for you today. If it's been a long time since you've used your card or perhaps maybe you do not have a card, we can also sign you up for one today before you leave if you're
Wonderful.
interested.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful.
If people are home and obviously not here are interested in applying for a card, you can do so online. You could, of course, come into the library whenever we're open and do that. You can always call us at the library for more information. I'm going to keep saying the phone number a lot. It's 914-245-5262. So the first thing I wanted to bring up that I thought you all might be interested in is book clubs. We have about 6 or 7 book clubs that run at the library. I've highlighted a few on the screen here because we have a variety of different book clubs depending on what you'd like to read. Our most popular and probably longest running club is the Hart Book Club. They read popular fiction. They actually meet the first Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m., but also they meet Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. You can come to the library before the meeting and pick up the book. You can always call us and ask us what book they're reading if you want to get the book on your own. They're a pretty lively bunch and they read a lot of really fun fiction, so I definitely encourage checking them out. Another popular group that probably started a few years ago is our book club for men. It's obviously for everyone. They decided to call it that because their focus is on nonfiction with an emphasis on history and biography. I personally love history and biography, so they're another great group. They meet the third Thursday of the month at 2 p.m. I'm going to be giving you all a lot of information. We have bags to hand out that have all of this, so I don't expect you to remember it all.
Sure.
There won't be a test at the end, I promise. And then a pretty new club that only started a couple of years ago is the Up All Night Book Club. They do what they call heart-stopping thrillers. That's not my genre, but a lot of people like that. And they are a fun bunch that meets at the second Thursday of the month at 6:30. We actually have a lot of people who are interested in a romance book group that should be started soon. If you are interested in doing a book group with your friends and you don't want to do it through the library, you can always get your books brought to the library for your group. If you tell us you have 6 friends, you all run and read Where the Crawdad Sings, you can give us a call. We'll get all the books ready for you, and you can come pick them up at the library. Again, if you want more information about that, you can call us 914-245-5262. Another service that the library provides, which people are not always aware about, is we give out free museum passes, as long as you have your library card. These are just a couple of examples of museum passes that we have. They are donated by the Friends of the Library with their support. The museum passes are great because you can usually get a pass for up to 4 people, so you could go with some friends. You can reserve the pass a month in advance, and it checks out for 3 nights and 4 days. So let's say you're planning to do something with friends on a Saturday. You can stop into the library on a Friday, get the pass, go over the weekend, and then return it back. The passes, just like anything with your library card, are completely free, and you can go to many different museums. These are just a highlight. I believe we have 13 or 14 now. In the packets that we're giving you is going to give a list of all of the museums and what each pass gets you. Another popular program that we have that I'm so excited is back finally is our drop-in programs. So there's no registration required. These run every week at the library. We have Mahjong on Mondays and Fridays. You can see from 10 to 1, and Fridays is 12:30 to 3:30. We actually recently had a woman come who has been teaching people how to play Mahjong. So if you don't know how to play but you've always been interested, I recommend coming to our Monday program because there is someone there who will help teach you. We have a new program that is gaining some popularity, which is Scrabble, and that is every Tuesday from 2:30 to 4:30. Again, these are all drop-in. You don't have to call. You don't have to reserve. You can just come by. And then some of you probably are aware our quilting and needlework group, who has been around since, I believe, the 70s. I don't want to date them, but they've been there for a very long time. They've been with Hart Library, I think, for over 30 years, and they are with us every Thursday from 10 to 12. So we don't just have drop-in programs. We have, I didn't know what to call this, so I'm calling it other fun programs. But there's no real set of what they are. I just wanted to highlight some. We have an earring making workshop. She usually comes about once a month. Chair yoga has recently started at the library. That's been very popular. She does a great program there. We have a writers group. There's a lot of other different craft programs as well. I just wanted to highlight some examples of programs we've had recently. I have the calendar for September and October in the back so you can see what programs are upcoming, but you can always just call us at the library and ask us what's happening. The senior newsletter that you all get in the back, they actually do highlight some of the library programs as well, so you can always look at that. Okay. So one of the reasons why I initially wanted to come and speak with all of you today is because I wanted to talk a little bit about our non-traditional library services. COVID has taught us that the library building, when it was closed, not everyone knew how to get the digital services that the library provides that even if you couldn't get into the building, you could use. So things can be borrowed, ebooks or audiobooks, from the comforts of your own home. You can do that when you're traveling, if you're visiting family. All that's needed is your library card number and a PIN. Oh, sorry, I went too fast. Our most popular app, does anybody do digital borrowing? Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, so perfect. That's exciting because I thought no one would have. But so Libby is our most popular app. There are about 30,000 titles on ebooks and audiobooks. Our library in general, we have developed and invested a lot of money into e-borrowing, and I think we are like the #1 or #2 library in the county. So we really try to make all of our titles what people want to read and available for people who are looking to read them. In addition to Libby, we have, it's not just ebooks, we also have Hoopla that has books and videos. Freegal is a really cool online free music streaming app that I'm not sure if anyone's ever used, but if you like to listen to music in your house and you want to just have it playing in the background. You know, Freegal you can stream for free on. And we also have Consumer Reports, which is available online that you can access from home just with your library card number and PIN. These apps, I'm sure not everyone is familiar with, so I just wanted to highlight some of the most popular ones. And I wanted to let you know that we do hold training sessions at the library on how to use all of these. If you are interested in setting up, having it not just at the library, but at an off-site that people are interested in learning, we could come here, we could come to the senior center, we could definitely set that up.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
That would be
I mean,
very
it
good.
really, whatever people are interested in learning, I love to teach it. So if we want to do a different session for all the different apps, I think I would love to do that.
And do we, if we have an iPad, for instance, would we bring our iPad and then you would show us how to?
Yep, so I'll get into a little bit of that. So I'll skip ahead, but this is just, like I said, so you can do step-by-step resources. We have them, all of the step-by-step tutorials if you wanted to try on your own. You could always come to the library, ask the librarian whenever we're open. One of the suggestions I would have is to get help from our teen computer tutors. So this is a fairly new program that started a couple years ago, but it's really gained traction, I would say, since we reopened after the pandemic. We have a program with local high school students who volunteer at the library. They are great teachers.
Yep.
They are extremely tech savvy to the point where like staff will go and ask them questions on things because these kids know, I mean, they've been growing up with these phones in their hands. So there are times when we have like issues with taking pictures or, you know, filters, things like that. They're the ones that we go to. They are at the library all year long. They're every Tuesday and Friday from 2:30 to 4:30. They can help you with library services, but they can also help you if you want to get on email or figuring out texting on your iPads, or you have a video that you can't download. Really, like, there's no question that's too large or too small for them, and they are really, really good. So we highly recommend, and this is no appointment, you just drop in.
So what is those dates again?
It's every Tuesday and Friday from 2:30 to 4:30. And they're actually around on Tuesday afternoons. Sometimes they play Scrabble as well. They're a really fun group.
I have to tell them to slow down, though.
Tell them to slow down?
Yeah, because they're very fast.
I know. They're too fast. But, you know, they will take things step by step. And, you know, you can come more than once. If you're wanting to learn how to do something, then you go back on your own and practice, come back. They can, you know, keep going with that.
That's wonderful. So
Another really important service we have at the library that we partner with the Westchester Library System on is Senior Benefits Information Counseling. I'm not sure if people are aware of that, but I know open enrollment in Medicare is starting soon. So we have counselors who are available at the library every second and fourth Tuesday of the month from 10 to 1. And we actually just got an email today. They have a helpline that they have opened that you can always call and either make an appointment with or speak to someone over the phone, so we can give you that number as well. These counselors answer questions and are experts in their field with Medicare, Medicaid, Part D drug coverage. They are very knowledgeable and they are very helpful. We've always gotten such positive feedback from our patrons who've used them. They can identify appropriate plans for them. People will come back for multiple sessions. They're a really great resource. We're lucky that we have them in our library.
Are they actually from Medicare? I bumped into someone in Peekskill the other day, and there was a van.
Yeah, so
And she was instructing people. She would get out of the van, and so I got her card. I think I have it in my purse somewhere, because I was going to really invite her to speak and to demonstrate what they do. So I don't know if that is connected to what your situation
our program
is.
is actually set up through a grant, I believe, with Westchester Library System. So they're not necessarily affiliated with Medicare. I believe they're retired counselors from there. I'm not exactly sure how Westchester Library System identified them, but I mean, these are experts in their field that they know everything. They know the best plan for people. They make great recommendations. They will do counseling over the phone as well, because, I mean, unfortunately, they're only at the library 2 times a month, but yeah, they're a really great resource.
She
to
had
have.
I mean, there was a long line waiting for her.
Oh, yeah.
And people would step into the van and they would ask whatever questions they had.
So they bring about 4 to 6 counselors every time they come to the library. So they actually get through people fairly quickly. When it comes to open enrollment time, at least before the pandemic, that we used to set them up in our community room, and they would bring even more counselors in. So I'm sure that's something they're planning to do again.
Yeah, I somewhere around here I have her card. I was going to call her.
Yeah.
And see if she would come to
Could have
Yorktown.
the library now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can always definitely call the library, because
Okay.
we have the number for the, like I said, the
Wonderful.
health resource
Good.
number.
That's wonderful.
And then just one other thing I wanted to mention, obviously, especially for those of you at home, if you are unable to come to the library, we also have a really great service called Heart for the Homebound. It is a service where if you want library material but you're unable to come to the library, you can call us, get set up with the program. You'll speak to a librarian who will ask you what you're interested in, what you like reading, if you prefer audiobooks, fiction, thriller. They will get a collection of material together and it will get delivered to you once a month. So that's an option as well. If you're interested in learning more about that, Debbie Sarno is the person who's in charge of that program. Again, the number is 914-245-5262, but any of us can point you in that direction. So that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I know I shared a lot of information. I won't test you all, I promise. But like I said, we have a packet that has a lot of what I mentioned. If you ever wanted to talk about anything, you had any questions, no question is too large or too small. It might be too large, might take us some time to figure out, but please feel free to call us at the reference desk, 914-245-5262. We are happy to help you learn more about any topic, find a good book. If you want to know the weather in California, I used to have a patron at a different library I worked at that would always call from Maine and ask us if it was snowing because it was snowing by her. So feel free, if you're traveling, you want to know what's happening with the weather, you can give us a call. And then don't forget our goodie bags that I mentioned because we have a lot of information in there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And is Ellen here?
No, she's not
Okay.
here
All
today.
right. Thank you.
Sometimes I can't get help. Have any Zoom?
Yes, the Friday morning book club does do Zoom, but if that's something you're interested in with another club, we could talk about setting that up because they definitely all did Zoom. So that one of them right now has a participant who's interested in Zoom, but if you're interested in it for a different program, we could look into setting that up.
We can't, we're not going to be able to hear your question. Would you repeat the question?
Well, you did not miss it. The Heart Book Club does a lot of popular fiction and historical fiction. We don't have one that's just set on historical fiction. The Friday one, they're actually called Not Your Mother's Book Club, so they read a variety of different titles. Yep. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
So we are going to be here at the end of your meeting if you're interested in signing up for a library
Okay,
card.
thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that we here at the committee are always anxious to hear from you. If you have any suggestions or if you have a particular issue that you feel is important to Yorktown seniors and elders, we would like to hear about it and look into it and see what we can do. If we can have a presentation or we can answer some questions, we're always happy to do that. So your input is always welcome. You can just call the supervisor's office and leave a message for me or anyone on the committee, and we'll discuss it and hope to be able to address it for you. It doesn't have to be for you. It could be an observation that you've made in the community that is something that you feel seniors need. We want to hear about it. Maybe we can address it. Okay? Is there anything else? Does anybody here want to say anything? Aaron has spoken. And we will have the flyers left here at Town Hall regarding the event that he discussed, so you'll know what it is and where it is, and perhaps we'll give some to Noreen O'Driscoll also, so that she can keep them down at the senior center. So with that, does any of the members have anything they'd like to add?
Nope.
Okay, and how about Mr. Falcone from the Rec Commission? Okay. And Diana, I want to thank you for all your help. Diana helps us a lot when we have something to do. And Tom. Oh, absolutely, Tom.
He's hidden.
We couldn't do this without Tom.
He's hidden.
Yeah, he hides. But I just want to say that I'm very happy that we do this in this town. We work with everyone together to reach an objective, and certainly Diana and her group in her office have been very helpful always, have never turned us down. You know, we get, sometimes, we have issues that we can't solve ourselves, so we need to reach out, and we do that. So we want to hear your opinions, we want to hear your issues, and if it's something private, say so. We don't have to advertise it, but we'll try to do the best we can to address it as a group. Wish our members who couldn't be here today, wish them all speedy recoveries, and look forward to seeing them next month, and look forward to seeing all of you. So thank you all for coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Don,